Natalie, welcome back to the podcast. It's so good to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here. It's always enjoyable.
You've got so much stuff going on, and I want to start it with the holiday season. This is coming out the week of Thanksgiving, and you're in the midst of re-releasing your Christmas series. Tell us all about that.
Yes. So the North Pole City Tale series is going into KU, and we're calling them Merry Mondays because they're coming out every Monday between today and the 23rd of December. They're 6 novellas, and they're just they're the kind of stories you kind of look for in the holidays. So they're very sweet, they're fun, they're low angst, and they're sort of fantasy that takes place in the North Pole, and you have these Christmas elves. And it was a lot of fun to write because I got to be creative with cursing. Because if you have, these sweet elves in the North Pole, they're not going to swear like some of my other guys do. So I had to come up with some really creative Christmassy curses. So you're going to find things like, Holy Holly and For Kringle's Sake in the books. So that was super fun, was coming up with those. You have these like Jack Frost and his relationship with Rudy, who's the captain of the reindeer squadron. And so the Christmas elves are elf pilots, and they're the ones who deliver presents on Christmas Eve. And it's all the shenanigans and adventures and trouble they get themselves into. So each book is a different couple, and it sort of has a little overall story arc throughout it too. But it's just a lot of fun, and it's very festive. Lots of hot cocoa and falling snow and everything you want to get cozy to. Even here in Florida, we're having a wee bit of a cold front. It's in the 50s now. So we're just
let's break the sweater weather out for Florida.
Yes, bust out the winter coats. It's a whole 55 degrees. So yeah, it's just a fun little thing. And those are releasing every Monday now. And they're all in KU. So, if you want to binge read, if you're a KU reader and want to binge read, those are there.
Perfect time of year for the binge reading the holiday stories.
Yes.
And you're re-releasing a lot right now, and you've got a lot of work going into KU for the first time for those readers. Tell us how the re-releases are going and what folks have to look forward to besides the North Pole series in the coming weeks.
Obviously, because they're Christmas stories, they're coming out for the holiday season. But I'm also releasing on Thursdays my Thirds books. The whole series is going into KU for the first time. Previously, I think book 1 was in KU for a little bit to kind of try it out. But now it's the entire series, and they're releasing about every 2 weeks on a Thursday. And right now, books 1 through 3 are out, and 4 will be coming out this Thursday. And so, again, it's one of those things. It's in KU for the first time. It was kind of daunting a little bit previously because it's a long series. It's a 10-book series. So I think it's perfect for KU because if you do love to binge read and you enjoy a long series or you enjoy binge reading series, that whole series for the first time is in KU. So it's really exciting. They're all getting new covers. They're getting reproofed. Since I'm re-releasing about 35 titles, so all those books have to be recovered and reproofed and re-released, but it can't be done all at once because then it's just all these a million books. But I'm really excited that they're all going into KU for the first time because I was a wide released author and I started self-pubbing last year. I kind of end up with 2 audiences. So I have my wide release audience, and then I picked up my KU readers who primarily read in KU, and so for them all these books are new to them and they get to read them for the first time. And I'm really excited that if they couldn't pick up any of these books before, they couldn't pick up this long series before, they have the chance now to do that. So I had to, of course, prioritize what I released when. So the third series is my biggest series, so that's releasing first at Christmas for the holidays, and then the thirds finish releasing end of February. So after that will be the Beyond the Books and Love and Pain, which is a spin-off Thirds Universe title, and then the Soldati, and then some of my other books, other releases. So it's exciting. It's a lot of stuff going on. Plus, I'll be releasing new stuff in between.
What's it like revisiting these books? Are they just getting reproofed, or are you adding anything into them as they come out for their second editions?
That was something I thought about a lot because, as authors, we're always growing. And, Hell and High Water came out in 2014. I wrote it in 2012. So there's always that kind of temptation to go in and go through it. I know that if I went through it and read it, I'd want to rewrite stuff because we learn from our mistakes and we grow. But the thing is, there's so many readers who fell in love with the thirds as it is. So I didn't want to go in there and make any big changes because then it's a new book. The moment you start making changes to the story, suddenly it's not the book that you wrote originally. So I decided I was just going to proof it for anything that got missed in edits the first time because as many authors know, no matter how many times a book is read, something always gets missed. A dropped word, something is spelled wrong. So I put it through the proofing process again for all those little things that might have gotten missed the first time. I think for Catch and Tiger, I just added a scene, but it was a scene that was in Beyond the Books. So it's sort of a continuation of a chapter that one of my best friends and several readers felt very strongly it should have been in there to begin with, which is how she became my beta reader. So I decided to put that into the book. But generally, that's what it's been. It's just kind of been rehashing. But I'm on my Facebook reader group quite often. So if there's any actual content changes, I make sure to let my readers know. Because I also, for my readers who do own the books, that way they're not wondering, well, do I need to buy the book again? Because there's, all these changes. So if they already bought the book, there isn't a need for them to rebuy it. Yeah. So yeah, just keeping them up to date, but no big changes so far.
As a fan of thirds, I will say that they might almost be worth that rebuy for those amazing new Reese Dante covers.
Aren't they? I'm not going to get into Sloane, but Sloane and Ash, I'd have to say, Sloane looks amazing. I love Dex, but Sloane looks amazing. But then she gave me Ash, and now I'm like, oh, now Sloane has some competition because,
Yeah. And for people,
bad boy.
For people who weren't at GRL to appreciate the life-size version of the banner you had there, wow.
Yeah. There were quite a few offers of people, who were very happy to take him home if I didn't feel like lugging it all the way back home.
I don't doubt it. And you mentioned earlier that you'd done some self-publishing before you got into all this re-release. How's it feel now to have really made that transition from a more traditionally published author for the majority of your work to now owning the whole process end to end for everything?
It's really exciting. I think a part of me kind of wishes that I'd started self-pubbing sooner, but then another part of me feels that I started doing it when it was time for me to do it because things made sense. I understood the production process. So, actually, knowing what I had to do was a lot of work, but I understood it. So it wasn't like I needed to be explained about hiring editors or hiring proofers or hiring a cover artist because I already knew how all that worked. I didn't have to, it wasn't as steep a learning curve as if I just, started fresh, new self-pubbing. So I had that background to kind of fall on. But it's exciting because I got control of the entire process. And for anyone who knows me, I'm a wee bit controlling when it comes to my stuff. I'm very picky about cover art and just the entire production process. So having that control for everything is just exciting, and it's been amazing because if I need something changed, I can just change it. If I need to re-upload a file, I can do it in seconds. If I need to reformat something, I can do it in a few minutes. I can speak directly with my cover artist. So And it's been really educational, and I just love learning, and I love picking up new information and seeing what I can do with it and taking things to the next level. But it also means I could do more with my worlds, which I'm very excited about, because for next year I have something really big planned, and it's something I couldn't really do before, but now it's possible. So that's going to be super exciting.
You got to answer the question before I could ask, like, what does this mean for your readers?
Because I have control of all my worlds now, I can essentially do what I want with them. Anything that I want to do, if I want to write a free book for some kind of promotion or something, I can do that. If I want to connect worlds, I can do that. If I want to do a crossover with another author, I can do that. So there's so many possibilities that, as like a big like book and movie nerd, that just like sparks all the right places. That's just like, oh, I could do this. Oh, I could do this. So I'm excited about that. And I'm working on something for next year that's kind of, the thirds is a really huge world that I could do so much with. So I'm looking at a plan for a similar world, but a romantic suspense one that will connect some of the current worlds that I have now. So
I envision a Charlie Cochet multiverse.
Yes. Yes. I'm so excited. So yeah, I'm working on that. So like any of the readers who enjoyed like the Kings or who are enjoying the Lock and Keys Agency, there's some really awesome stuff coming.
Everybody's now going to be like, well, what is it? Tell me more. Tell me more. Hurry up, 2020. Get here. Now, you're not all about re-releases right now, because you've got a new installment in the Paranormal Prince series coming.
Yes.
What do we have to look forward to there?
Well, I'm working on the second and third Paranormal Prince book. Originally, I had played around with the idea of doing 6 novellas for this series, but I'm actually just making it a trilogy. So I had a lot of readers who were waiting for the King's book. So the King's going to be the third and final book. But I'm working on the next 2 books in the Paranormal Princes. I'm hoping to get them done and have them both out sometime early January, depending on how the holidays go, because the holidays always, you never know what to expect. It gets a little bit hectic. But yeah, I have a lot of series going, so I'm wrapping that up so that I can, continue onto like my other series. But yeah, I'm excited about working on those 2, and I'm very excited because Greg Tremblay is going to be doing the audiobooks. So I've already listened to the first 15 minutes of The Prince and His Bedeviled Bodyguard, and it's so good. It's so good.
As I would expect from a Greg Tremblay book.
Oh, yes. It's going to be so much fun. I just his comedic timing is perfect. So I'm really looking forward to that. That should hopefully be out sometime in late December or early January.
And what's this series about for those who may not have picked up the first book yet?
The Paranormal Princes it's about these shifter princes, and there's the king of all shifters, and each prince has to prove that he is worthy of his crown. So each book is about the prince being given his quest to prove his worthiness. But obviously, along the way, they find love. By the end of the trilogy, we'll find out what the quests were really about, and it gets, tied up neatly. But it's our first book was, we had an ocelot shifter prince and a wolf bodyguard who also happened to be a prince. So it's just it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of humor. There's a lot of banter, and I just had fun with it. I just let go with it. And they're just these little novellas that are these paranormal shifter princes going on adventures and being snarky and sassy.
And probably sexy, too, along the way.
Oh,
if I
yes,
had to guess.
Of course. Yep.
Now, you teased just a little teeny bit about 2020 and the expansion in the third universe. Anything else you can tell us about what's coming up next year?
So next year we've got the books 2 and 3 in the Lock and Keys Agency. So that's Lips Are Sealed and Behind Closed Doors. I'm very excited about those. This year, I ended the Four Kings Security series, which is 4 books. So we're going to have the spin-off, because I know a lot of readers are wondering, well, what about Jack? What about Joker? I'm going to start that series. And the first book will be Stacking the Deck, which is Jack and Fitz. And then we've also got the launch of the Tin series. Originally, I had hoped to start publishing it this year, but I didn't want to put those books out until the thirds was back out, because some readers were mid-series. Some readers wanted to start it before the new series came out, so I made the decision to hold off on Tin until the thirds were back out. So, and I'm going to be wrapping up some series, like the Soldati series with the 3rd novella. So I'm looking to wrap up some of the smaller series and launch the bigger spin-off series and do some fun stuff with those.
You got a lot on your plate for next year.
Yes. I start off with very ambitious goals, and then depending on what, the universe throws at me, just, kind of get done what I can get done. But yeah, I've got a plan in place. I don't have as many conferences next year, because this year I had 7, and that kind of, every conference takes a lot of time away from my writing. The prep work before a conference, during the conference, recovering from the conference. So I'm pulling back to 3 or 4 for next year. It's like 2 reader conferences and 2 industry conferences to try and get my schedule back on track and get out these books that I want to get out.
I imagine your readers will be happy to know that you're going to stay put and write these books and get them out the door. But of course, one of the places that we are going to see you next year will be in February at Coastal Magic.
Absolutely.
Which, of course, is practically in your backyard anyway. But
2-hour drive. I love it.
This won't be your first time at Coastal. What keeps you coming back to the beach for this weekend?
Coastal is just such a great environment. It's so laid back. Everyone's so friendly. You get to just hang out with readers and hang out with your fellow authors. The panels are fun. It's a small, tight-knit group, so it's not overwhelming. And I just love the atmosphere of it. And I've been going since 2015. So it'll be my 6th one. I always enjoy them.
What would you say to readers who are considering to make the trip in 2020 to help kind of nudge them to come join us at the beach?
If you don't go to a lot of conferences, or maybe you're uncertain or you feel like you might be overwhelmed by a bigger conference, Coastal is just such a great place to go. Because, like I said, it's a small group of people. Everyone's very friendly. No one's ever on their own. You can hang out with other readers who are passionate about the same thing you are, with other authors. We're there all the time just to hang out, to do fun panels. So it's Florida in February, so it's probably warmer than wherever you are. So it's just a great experience. I go back every year, and I always have a lot of fun. So I definitely recommend it.
Very cool. And how can folks keep up with you online and make sure they're up to date as you're putting all this material out in 2020?
I have a newsletter, which is on my website. I have a link on my website. I try not to send out more than 1 or 2 a month, depending on what big stuff is happening. I have a Facebook reader group. So I'm in there quite a lot, and I do a lot of updates in there. I do giveaways. I do all kinds of fun stuff in there. I'm on Facebook quite a bit, so that's probably the best place to find me. But through my newsletter, and I also update my website often, so you can find the books that are coming soon or what's just come out, the books as they're releasing and everything.
The Facebook group's a good place to be, because those thirds covers get dropped there first.
They do.
I'll just put that out there.
Yeah. You get to see them first, and I have theme days, so like every Tuesday is Tuesday treats. So it's either a giveaway or an excerpt or a sneak peek to the next book. So we have a lot of exclusives in there for fun stuff for readers.
Awesome. Well, Charlie, thank you so much for coming and talking to us, and look forward to seeing you in Daytona in February.
I know. I look forward to seeing you too. Thank you so much for having me. Awesome.